Hello and welcome to the Knitting Traditions Podcast. My name is Inga and this is my little corner on the internet where I talk about my knitting. Today I have a regular podcast episode for you. It is May, the weather is beautiful, I am back home and I'm coming to you from my knitting room, courtesy of a sponsored episode by Serious Lights. Usually I have a hard time recording in here just because it is in the darkest side of the house. We have a mountain hill going straight up outside my window, so there isn't a lot of natural light, and they very kindly gifted me one of their lights so that I now have beautiful light setting for you guys, as well as crafting lights at night. So let me just talk a little bit about them and then we'll get right into the regular content, and I will put thumbnails below. And all of the information that I talk about today will also be in the description box. So they sent me one of their high definition lights that uses wave light technology. So this is as close to technology will get you to the natural daylight spectrum. And when they contacted me, I was very excited. I will say no to people if I do not think it will be something that I would like myself, but I have been looking for a good crafting light. In the summer in Norway, we almost have the midnight sun where I live, but 6 months of the year we have very little daylight. It is very dark, and now with Nelly at night, in the winter months, I will have a hard time crafting because my crafting time is now usually when she has gone to sleep, and by then it is really dark. And I have been using a light that lights up the entire room, which has been annoying for Matthias when we watch movies and series that I need the entire room to be lit up. So now I can just sit in my little corner and have a light just for me. I can change how wide I want the angle of the light to be, if I want to dim it or not, how high, how low. It is very functional. The design looks quite simple, but that fits with our aesthetic because we have a lot of simple black metal details in our living room, so this fits right in. And the best part about the light that I got is that you can take it with you without having to have it plugged into the wall, and it has 7 hours of light, so I can actually take it with me into my crafting room or outside at night in the fall, and I can have beautiful lighting wherever I'm crafting. So if you are interested, they give you a £100 discount if you use the code INGA24, and I will also have a affiliate link below, or just a link below. I have to check that. And another great thing that I found is because they are based in the UK and I'm based in Norway, usually I have a lot of import taxes and handling fees, but they will cover that. So what you pay for the light is what you pay, and all other fees of import they will do. And if you have a different plug, they will also change it for the plug that you specify you need. So far, really happy with it. Even if it is in the lighter months, I have been staying up late, as I shouldn't with a baby, and I have been using it for crafting. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty content. I am wearing a Jessie May design. This is one of her summer t-shirts, and I will put the pattern name below because I did not make it this year and I don't remember on top of my head the exact pattern name for this one, but it is one of the t-shirts that also has a matching shorts, but I've not made the shorts. I think it is summer something, and I made this in a hand-dyed silk summer yarn, and I'll see if I can find the name of that indie dyer as well and put it below. I think it's 2 or 3 years ago now since I made this. I still lived in a basement apartment back then. So that is what I'm wearing. I am loving this color, especially now that I have more of my natural brown hair. I do really enjoy the autumnal colors again. So wearing that for you guys, so it's still something knitted, even though the weather is nice. And I have been knitting on all the different things. I feel like I have 100 whips for you guys today, but I do have one finished object. So grab yourself something to drink. I got my thermos with lukewarm coffee, and I'm gonna show you my one finished object, and that is the lace body dress, I think. I'm just gonna put the button through the back. I finished this in Turkey for Nelly. This is the lace something. I have it here. I've written it down in Norwegian, but I think it is a lace body dress by Knitting for Olive. And I knit this in Knitting for Olive pure silk. 2 balls of yarn was enough. And the color is eucalyptus. This is the 6-month-old size. I used 2.5 and 3 millimeter needles. The gauge is 28 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches. I started this at the end of March and finished it at the very beginning of May. She is currently just 4 months, and this fits her right now. She is not very chubby, but she is very long, which isn't strange. I am a very tall person, so is Matthias. He's almost 190, I'm almost 180, so long baby do. She's very cute in this. She is lighter colored than me and Matthias. We were both blonde as children, and she is currently transitioning from brown hair to blonde. It's almost a strawberry blonde right now, and her eyes are turning from blue to I think brown, so they're looking a bit greenish, and this color is stunning on her. So she's been wearing it a lot, both in Turkey and at home. I opted for some pearlescent buttons that I found in Turkey. They're like half spheres, and I am really enjoying the look of it. I think they were so cute on this, and they are making me want to have more pearl buttons in my life. This is very cute. It is easy to get on and off, very functional. However, there was a lot of ends to weave in, which is making me not want to knit this again. Matthias's mom has knitted in wool for 9-month size for the fall, and that is perfect. And we'll see. I mean, if it is our favorite garment, I will make it again. But there was just a lot of ends in a plant yarn. So I think if it's a wool yarn, I'm not going to mind it as much. But the borders here for the armholes, the neckline, and the legs were all I-cord edges that you knit afterwards. So that is 2 new ends to weave in per thing, right? So that is 10 additional ends to weave in. And then, you know, attaching the buttons. I tried to use as many loose ends already in the project as possible to weave them in. But yeah, I did have to, I think at least 1 extra end I needed to attach to weave in the buttons. But it is a beautiful pattern. It is very cute on little girl babies. I think if I do it again, maybe I'll just skip this edge because I think it would look very cute without it. And it would also just make for a great body if you skip the skirt. Then you have a nice plain stockinette body, which will be a lot quicker to knit than with the lace skirt. And that would also make it a bit more unisex if that matters to you. So yes, the lace bat dress by Knitting for Olive is finished. And this color did not bleed. I knit the poly top for the last podcast episode in a fuchsia color, and that is bleeding all over the place. That color is crazy, but this one was fine. If anyone else is looking into that. Yes. So while we are on the baby knits, maybe I should just continue with that and then move into the adult whips, so that if people are not interested, they can skip. I cast on a whip in Turkey, thinking like this was like the second last day, I was gonna cast on this whip and leave it there so that I could have it there to knit on when we come back down in the fall. But do you ever get separation anxiety from your whips? Because I did. I could not get myself to leave this behind. And here's my reasoning, okay? So this is the nellike blanket. It is a very simple, but it has a nice detail to it, right? It looks a bit complex, but it really isn't. It is garter, but on one side you do some increases on each side of a stitch, and you do a 3-point decrease, so knit it. So basically you slip on, knit two together, pass the slip stitch over. And you do this at the same point with 8 stitches between whenever you do something. And 1 ball of yarn for that, and it fits perfectly now. We used it so much in Turkey, and we're still using it here now in the summer for when we don't need wool. And I want to make a bigger one because she will grow out of that one. So I wanted to make a bigger one, and I bought more of the orange because I do want to make a bigger orange one because I love that color. But they also had this really nice pink one, very out of my comfort zone, but maybe she will like it. And she does really look good in the brighter pinks. The muter ones, not so much, but the bright ones are good for her. I think she is a spring colorway. And my reasoning was that if I leave it there to finish it in the fall, then it might be finished by the end of our stay there, and by that time it is September and there will be no use for it in Norway, really. We will be using wool. So I brought it home to finish it, and hopefully with all the 100 whips that I have, I will get around to finishing it in time for when we go to Turkey at least. I think it's going to be a great knit. I have 4 balls of this, but I do think 2 will be enough. And then the other 2 I will have for making maybe more baby-sized ones to gift to friends, because I gifted one for a friend and I think she really appreciated it, and it has held up really well, the one I have, and I think also the one she has. I do think it's a good gift. And the pattern is free on hobbii something. So yeah, the nellike blanket, the yarn I got in Turkey, sorry for the crinkles, is the Alize Bella Ombre Batik. So it's 100% cotton, and it is not mercerized, if that is the name for the treated cottons. It's 250 grams, 900 meters, or 984 yards. The recommended needle is 3, but I actually opted for a bigger needle size for this blanket because what I really enjoyed about it is that it was, you know, cotton and a lot of airflow through it through warm days. And I just wanted even more airflow through it, especially since Nelly has a tendency to want to put everything over her face. So I just felt like having more air gaps was a good thing. And if I pull it over the wagon just to have a little bit of shade, I think it's going to be a visual interest for her to see the light poking through the fabric a little bit. So I am knitting it on 4.5 millimeter needles. I picked up some wood needles on the way to the airport because I couldn't take my mom's knitting needles that she has down there. I couldn't take them with me home. That would defeat the whole purpose. So I had to get some on the way to the airport, and I got some more yarn so that I can make it long enough. So it's going to transition from dark to light, and then I'm going to start this ball with light and go to dark. And because I sized up the needle size, it is quite a lot wider than the one I have from before, and I also added 2 repeats. So if it looks like it needs more length to look proportionate, then I do have those other 2 balls that I can break into. And yeah, I really do enjoy how this color change is so gradual that you cannot see it unless you've knit for quite a bit and you fold fabric in on itself. It is such a beautiful, subtle color change. So that is the nellike blanket, and I am surrounded by whips. Okay. I have another baby blanket. This yarn was sent to me, a gift from We Are Knitters. So they send their kits in these cardboard boxes, and they have this blanket on their page, which is a pattern by Augustins. The most used blanket that I have used for Nelly is a pattern blanket from Augustins, and I cannot seem to find it anywhere. I swear, the mess, just the exponential growth of mess in a house with a baby is real. And I cannot seem to find it anywhere. Maybe it's at the cabin. I need to find it. But they have this kit for another pattern from Augustins, which I think are only available through We Are Knitters, and that is the elderflower blanket. And it is said to be an advanced level. However, I would not say it's advanced. It's not beginner friendly. Like it's more than just stockinette. You start with magic loop. There's stockinette, yes, with increases. Then you move on to lace pattern, but the lace is not difficult. However, the pattern from We Are Knitters is not charted. It is only written out. So if you only want to knit from charts, it's not for you. This is my first time not using a chart for lace, and it was a bit of an adjustment, but honestly, it's fine. It comes with the yarn you need, it comes with the needle you need for the project, and it also comes with some stickers, which I will save for Nelly. And the yarn in this one I have not used before, so I have bought kits from them in the past in their petite wool. This is their baby alpaca, and I have already knit up 2 balls of it. The kit comes with 6. I'm on my 3rd ball, and I've been enjoying knitting with this. It's not splitting, which I really like. It feels really nice and soft, and it is a color that I do not knit with very often. It's beige. Now, I find that beige, especially in the winter, kind of washes me out. It is very similar to my skin tone, but knitting it up in a blanket is kind of feeding my need for using some other colors. So this is their baby alpaca. It's 112 meters to 50 grams, and the color is sand. So this is the one that is in the kit. And I am keeping this in this beautiful handmade bag from the Knitting Bureau in France. She sent me a little mom new baby gifts. I did not have to show it on the podcast, but I just wanted to share it with you guys because it is so cute. And she hand embroiders on these little nature inspired things. And inside it, I've been keeping my whip. I have finished the center. This is going to need a good block. So the center with the stockinette and increases, and then I have finished the sort of leaf looking lace motif of the elderflower blanket. And the next step now is going to be the border, which is knit on kind of perpendicularly. Is that a word? I feel like I say that a lot. Sorry, English is not my native language. But yeah, you will knit a border of lace around it, sort of. So that is the next step of this. And it has flown off the needle. When did I start this? I started it on the 15th of May, and today is the 20th. So 5 days of knitting. And I haven't been knitting on other things as well, but mostly on this one, because it became quite addictive, really. Casting on, it kind of looked like a nipple cover. And then as I was knitting it on, after the first few centimeters, I switched to small circulars, so 12-inch circulars. and it was a little bit bunched up on the needles, and it really looked like a breastfeeding boob that was empty of milk. And then, but then once I switched to regular circular needles, it started looking more like a blanket. And I was going to switch to even longer needles, but since the border will be knit on and bound off as I go, I do not think I'm going to bother with it. It is fine. So this is what I have left of the third ball. I still have 3 balls to go, so I do think I will have leftovers, but we'll see how much the lace eats up of the yarn. So I will link the kit for that below if anyone else is interested in it. So then I will have 2 circular lace blankets, and I know that Augustins has another one because I do have that pattern. I think it's number 5 and I have already knit number 1, or it's the other way around. And I would like to knit that as well, so I can have like a little collection of all of her circular lace blankets. Yes. I'm gonna grab, I think this is my last baby whip, and then we will go on to the adult whips. And this is the lace bat dress, again from Knitting for Olive. This is a pattern that I've had for a while. I thought it was really cute, and the yarn is some older stash yarn that I bought in Turkey. It's the Gazal merino silk in the color antique moss, and I had, I think, 6 balls of this. And I swatched for the pattern because I think the pattern uses Knitting for Olive, either a pure silk or cotton merino, which is a thin lace, or it's like lace weight thin fingering. I think it's supposed to be 3mm needles, but I couldn't get gauge, so I held this yarn, which is a lace weight double, on 3.5mm needles, and that got me gauge. And this is the 1-year-old size. You start with the lace on the sleeves, which is beautiful. And then you join to do the yoke, bottom up. And there's an I-cord looking edge, but it's not actually I-cord. I really like that. And then in the back, it's a split, and there will be a button, and I think I'm gonna go for those pearlescent buttons again. I really like the effect of them. And you're doing some German short rows to finish underneath the sleeves. There's increases for the dress, and then you're knitting down and you're doing increases. And as you can see here, there is some color change as I swapped for a different skein of yarn. Now I was using 1 strand of the previous and 1 strand of the new one, but even still, you can see a little bit of pooling going on and changing into more saturated skein. But you know what? That is what it's gonna be. It's a dress for a 1-year-old. I think it's gonna be her Christmas dress. And I have now changed so that I just finished, so I stranded 1 strand of this and 1 strand of this at the end. And I just finished it, so now we need to attach another ball, and we'll see how the pooling goes for those. But yeah, I am just doing the increases. I have little stitch markers to mark where to do those increases, and yeah, just, I think I have to do 4 more repeats of the stockinette and increases, and then it will be done. It's just stockinette for the skirt part, and I think it's really pretty. So if it looks good on her, I could see myself knitting this again, just because, I mean, the lace is a little bit faffy, but then once you get to the skirt, it's a mindless knit, which I really enjoy. I enjoy my mindless knits. And this is living in my bag from Payuta Makes on Instagram. I bought this from her previously, and she also gifted me a separate one, so I will be transparent about that. But she makes beautiful linen bags as well with embroidery. Now, oh, I am mistaken. I have one more baby width. So me and my cousin, we went on a little road trip through the mills on the west coast of Norway. For my 30th birthday, she bought me a night's stay at a hotel in Stavanger, and when we woke up in the morning, we went to the Sandnesgarn mill, the Gjestal outlet, the Viking Garn outlet, and Garniers. And I will record a little Norwegian West Coast yarn haul video, kind of to take you through from Stavanger to Rauma, even though we didn't go to Rauma this time, where I can show you what I got on this trip and also talk about what a good route could be if you ever were to travel here and you want to see them all. And when we went, I cast on a little sweater for Nelly in nutiden and a silk mohair from my stash. Let's see. So this is the colorway from February or March. I don't remember the name on top of my head, but it is this pink one. So nutiden is a Swedish-based company where either you should be a patron to get a hold of it or be ready when they post on Instagram that their shop is open. So I got this pink one. I also got a yellow one. And this is going to be the tulip jumper, a pattern by Melody Hoffman. And I think I'm knitting the 1-year-old size. I should have noted that down. But I cast this on when we were on the trip, so I didn't have my little cheat sheet with me. I don't think I wrote it down before we drove away. Let's see. No, I did not. The silk mohair is from Sandnesgarn, I think. It's the tynn silk mohair from Sandnesgarn, and I had 3 balls of this in my stash. Not really my color, but I figured it's a good way to knit colors I wouldn't knit for myself to knit for Nelly. Though it might not be bright enough for her coloring, but it will be functional. And I wanted to see some specs on this, but 212 meters to 25 grams. And I think I have just finished the increases on the raglan, so I'll be splitting for sleeves and the body. I'm a little bit unsure how I think the neckline is doing. I might have been knitting it a bit too loosely, so maybe I will put in an elastic, or maybe I will just leave it so that it's not so close to her neck. We'll see once it's finished what I think. I really enjoyed the look of this pink until somebody pointed out to me that it kind of looks like raw meat, and now I cannot unsee it. But it looks like pretty raw meat. It has like those heatherings of the reds and the pinks. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a very nice and functional sweater for her for the winter. So that is what I am knitting on for her. Let's go into what I'm knitting for me. Let's see. So, I think I mentioned in the last episode that I'm knitting the In and Out Raglan, which is a pattern recipe by Ivana from the Republic of Me. This is on her blog. She has a recipe where you can take whatever yarn you have, do a swatch, take your gauge, and kind of plug it into her pattern recipe, and it will give you how many stitches to cast on and how to do the raglan increases until you have this and this many stitches. and then split and knit the sleeves and body, and voila, you have a raglan top-down sweater. There's different lengths she gives you as well for different kinds of necklines. I've gone for a sort of mock turtleneck, and I knit a little bit more on it since the last time I showed you. It is just a wonderful, simple pattern that if I just need something mindless to knit on, this is it. And the yarn is very special. This is hand spun Shetland wool that Ivana spun herself for me, and it is just stunning. And I just broke into the second ball, and it's going to be a beautiful sweater and like a warm hug. So that is one whip for me. And the needles that I'm using is 4 and 5 millimeter needles, and my gauge is 16 stitches. I cast on 84 stitches for the neck, and I will be done when I have around 200 stitches according to her recipe. But I do think I will do 3 extra inch increases for the sleeves because I have wider upper arms than the normal ratio. Yes, that. And I have a new whip for me that was not here last time. This is living in my bag from the Knitting Swan, which I'm an affiliate member of, so you can use the code Inga for I think 10% off, and I will also have an affiliate link down below if you are interested. I love her bags, and she is coming out with a new collection soon, which I'm very excited about. And this project might just have to move into her new collection because of the colorway. This is a poppy red tynn lina yarn that I'm holding double to knit the Lola dress from Sandnesgarn. This is a pattern that normally uses lina, but if you hold tynn lina double, that works. And I got a bag of mill ends at the Sandnesgarn mill in this color. So they come in like little scrappy balls of various sizes in a plastic bag. And I got 1.2 kilos, which should be enough for a large size dress or more. But I am doing a tighter gauge. I'm knitting on 3.75 millimeter needles, and it fits really well. I've tried it on, but it will use more yarn because of the tighter gauge and row gauge. But I have finished the top part with the pamphlet, volanger, and the button bands. Just need to put on the buttons. So all the yarn that I have left can now go into the skirt, which has increases up here, but the rest is just pure stockinette, so I can just knit until I'm either happy with the length or until I run out of the yarn. And I knit on this in Turkey a lot. I did not manage to finish it. It's a lot of stitches. It's over 400 stitches. But I am enjoying it, and it's going to be so nice, I think, for the summer and probably other seasons as well if I do put something underneath. But because it is such a heavy garment, I wanted to be able to just use it on its own, and that is why I opted for a slightly tighter gauge. The pattern pamphlets that this is in does have some other projects in there if you want to get the book without buying over a kilo of yarn and shipping, because their policy is you have to buy yarn for one of the projects to get the pamphlet book. I think there's a bucket hat in there that would take a lot less than a kilo of yarn, just so you have that option. So this is going to be worked on because I do want to finish this before the fall. And this I also showed you. I thrifted this basket, and I think it is very cute. and it's also really convenient to take with me. If I'm carrying Nelly, I can bring my whip as well. And in here I am knitting on the herringbone cheat sheets, my herringbone jumper by Norgaard knitters, but I'm doing a lot of changes, so basically I'm just using the colorway pattern from the pattern, and the rest I will be modifying: the neckline, the raglan, the sleeves, the body. So different sweater but the same color work. And the yarn that I am using is isager alpaca 2, and I'm holding it together with Telia from Filkalana, as well as a cone of yarn from woolly yarn dots something, I think Latvian. This is from my stash, and this is where I am at. Again, a sort of a mock turtle neck. Did some changes to the increases in the pattern, and I am working on the raglan, and I'm going to try it on after a little while just to see where I want it to split, because I do not want too deep of a yoke. And I will also see if it looks okay on, seeing as it's a different kind of neckline to what I usually go for. The German short rows are in the ribbing here instead of on the body, because of knitting back and forth with color work. That would be in tarja, and I was not up for that. So yeah, this is going to be a very warm sweater, being currently 6 strands of yarn at a time, because you're holding the alpaca double plus a silk mohair, and you're holding 2 colors of that, so that's 6 strands of yarn. So it's going to be quite a warm and fluffy sweater. So I might be putting this a little bit on the back burner for now, because we have really nice weather and it's not what I want to knit on then. I might focus on my Lola dress and the nellike blanket, and then leave this for colder days, which probably will be here in a week or 2, because our summers are no longer reliable, and this May weather is as nice as it gets here. So that is the herringbone jumper, my herringbone jumper it's called. And then I also have my long-term whip now, which is the Stella quilt blanket, which is a testknit pre-knit for Laura Penrose. So I finished 2 big squares for the blanket, and I am working on the 3rd one. I don't think I've made much progress, if any, since last time, but I also don't remember if I showed it. But this is the 3rd square in like a golden color. So now I have burgundy, dark green, and gold. And we'll see what the next color is going to be. I am using Stash DK yarns for the contrast. And then my background color, the white, is an undyed lamb's wool from Rauma that I bought on cones that I'm holding double. So I have plenty of that so that I can make this into a gigantic blanket if I want to, or I could make smaller ones. But for now, the plan is a gigantic one. And this is something that I can see myself knitting on all throughout the year, because it is modular, smaller knitting. That will be something big, but it's also something woolly for the winter. But again, I do want to finish those summer knits while it's summer, because I do not enjoy knitting on summer yarns the rest of the year when I can knit on woolly things. So maybe this will rest a little bit, or bring it on a road trip this summer and knit in the car. It's great for that. We'll see. But yeah, really enjoying that. And that is living in my bag from, do I have the name? This was very much influenced by Brook Willow Knits. It's a Norwegian brand. And I do not see the tag in here. Me, myself, and I is the bag. No, it does not say. But it is a Norwegian company that uses silk, leftover silk, to produce, or old saris to knit these, sew these beautiful bags. And she influenced me to get one. So that is for my big whip. I also have some resting whips that I do not think I have touched since last time. That would be my peated whisky, cardigan, a scarf, and another of the Stella blankets, which are the pillows modified into a blanket. So I'm not going to show you those today because they are living in a fall, wait for me kind of situation. Yes. But I do have some plans to share with you. I was sent a little sampling from John Arbon Textiles and their new base, the Devon Naturals DK. And I was sent 4 little minis, and I'm not sure what I can make with this amount of yarn because it's 25 grams each. So together this is 100 grams of yarn. But I am playing with the idea of maybe knitting a hot water bottle cover, just because that will let me get a feel of how this base is. It is feeling quite woolly. It's also undyed. This is the Gladys, which is gray Exmoor blue face. The white one is Edna, which is 100% Exmoor blue face. The light gray is Reggie, that's 20% gray Exmoor blue face and 80% Romney. And then there is Zadie, which is 100% Zwart Plus. So it's a nice way of trying the different sheep breeds. They are feeling quite bouncy. I do think maybe this one is the most drapey one, and that is 100% blue face. At least the way it is looking right now, it feels quite drapey. I wouldn't say any of them are like super soft. They are all woolly, but they do feel slightly different. The Schwarzblas, I cannot say that, is the one that maybe feels the most woolly of the lot. And I think color-wise, the Gladys might be my favorite. I really like the heathered brownish gray color of this one. But yeah, I'm thinking hot water bottle cover, either striped or colorway. Maybe you can let me know what you think. But I'm excited to try these different sheep breeds. I do love breed specific yarns, and undyed yarns really does let the properties of the yarn shine. So excited to make something with this little sampling. And yeah, I think that is enough knitting to keep me going for a while. But knowing myself, I will probably cast on more things because, you know, it makes me happy and I do not mind whips. And they all do get knit up eventually. So I just need to knit on whatever makes me happy in the moment. And I do hope that your crafting also makes you happy when you're crafting on it. And I personally would say if it's not making you happy, maybe make something different. Maybe you get back to it, maybe you don't. Whatever happens is okay. At least for me, crafting is something that should give me joy and comfort and relaxation, and it's something that I do for myself. But I know everyone's crafting is different, but if I can send a message out there is to not be so tough on yourself and make whatever makes you happy. And I will see you soon. Bye.